Welcome to Family Basics 101. I'm Dr. Bruce McClure, and we will begin part 2 of our series on men. On yesterday, we simply did a working definition of what the term man really means. We talked about the Bible definition of Adam, meaning ruddy, the word Homo sapien, which is a Latin word for wise man or a knowing man. We also talked about the Greek word anthros, or the term anthropology. We talked about ish. It defines the male as the husband, and it distinguishes the male from the female. We also talked about the word gabar, which is the strength or the strong man in the home. And then we talked about the plural form of the word methem, which is always used in the masculine gender. So today, let's look at what does a God-man really characterize for the world. So when you look at God's man, what does that picture really look like? If you had to paint a portrait of a God-man, how would you paint the picture? Immanuel Kant, in the Metaphysics of Morals, writes, and I think there are some truths in this that carries over to our relationships as God's men. But listen at what Immanuel Kant writes. Man cannot deprive himself of personality as long as he has duties, and duties exist as long as man lives. To dispose oneself as to the simple means to someone else's end is degrading to a man's humanity, which is void of the usage of his senses in the acceptance of attitudes, behaviors, and demands of others that are contrary to his Adam or his humanity. Kant also writes, the Homo sapien, that wise man, that thinking man, can't operate in a realm of phenomenon, which is the realm of sense reality utilized by unlearned individuals. In other words, a learned man cannot really function in an unlearned environment. It contradicts his Homo sapien nature. This is from Immanuel Kant. When we look at God's man in terms of how God looks at his man, I want you to see the similarities between what Immanuel Kant says and what God says. Man, by his mere nature, demands the respect of all other creatures. It is in the humanity of Adam, within each ish, that it is to be regarded as worthy of reverence. Now, listen to what I just said. Man, by his mere nature, how he's created by God to be a man, within the nature of that creation, it is within that man to be regarded worthy of reverence. When you look at the self-value is the inherent duty of each man, independent of external approval or independent of external acceptance from others. It becomes imperative for the God-man to self-value himself, not driven by approval of others, nor driven by the acceptance of others. And the reason being, man cannot deprive himself of his own personality as given to him by his Creator. Man cannot deprive himself of being valued because in creating man, there was value put inside in that creation. God's man is always in covenant with the God who made him, or he should be. There is no reason why the God-man will ever break covenant with the Creator. It's God who creates man to be dutiful. It's God who creates man to be a productive Homo sapien, a person with strength, a person of value, a person of wisdom. And every man has built into him the responsibility of covenant relationship with such a creator. Now, let's talk about at least 6 attributes of a God-man. Because a God-man accepts and values himself, and because a God-man accepts and reverences the one who creates him, that God-man should refuse to be a parasite for others. In other words, that God-man values himself so much that he refuses to leech off of other people. He refuses to be a beggar. He refuses to allow other people to unjustly and in an unhealthy way affix themselves to him. Third, he refuses to flatter others by his godness. God created us to be the model of God. Gentleness, meekness, long-suffering, patience, kindness. And with that, there is no room for man to flatter anyone. Fourthly, man refuses to destroy the beauty and the glory of other atoms. Remember now, there are multiple people in this world. There are many men in the world. And a God-man will not maliciously attempt to destroy another God-man. God-men build one another up. They ally together. They rally around each other. They motivate each other. Then they encourage each other to a higher level of godliness. Number 5, a God-man refuses to allow his embedded gifts that are placed inside his own humanity to go unused to their fullest capacity possible. A God-man daily seeks opportunities to use the gift that is built inside them by God. And 6, a God-man refuses to serve any other except the one who created him as Adam. In other words, the object of worship for a God-man is his creator God. The God of the God-man looks like this. Look in Genesis chapter 1, verses 26 through 28. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. And God blessed them. I want you to understand that God's man is blessed. And because God's man is blessed by his creator, then God's man has a responsibility to be a blessing to every person they come in contact with. I'll see you back in class again tomorrow. Don't be late and don't skip class.